Hello. Well, weird game, fun game, interesting game, exciting game. Unfortunate how it ended. Take the point, get out of there. That's a team that you give a two-goal lead to. You're probably not going to get back in the game too often. So it's good they battled back into the game. The better chance is clearly the Golden Knights is in the overtime. Like that just sucks. I mean, I just feel bad for Eichel in that situation because like he had an interesting game. There was a lot of good, but there was also some tough. And I think there's certainly something to be said about kind of when he feels like he needs to push a little bit more, when he feels like his offense isn't quite where it needs to be. We start to see a little bit more of these turnovers, certainly in the neutral zone, kind of coming out of the offensive zone. We don't see them too often like we saw that actually ended the game. So I just look at the play that he makes to Marchessault on the back door. Marchessault makes a good play back to him in the front. And you end up with this situation where he's got a great opportunity. He's usually going to bury that one, and it rings off the post, and then it goes kind of down the other way. He makes the mistake in front of the goal. It's just disappointing on his end. So I'm not, that's kind of sucks. But as a whole, we do have to start kind of looking at that line as a whole, because it doesn't seem like we can get all three on board at the same time. Like one of the biggest things in this game to me, and this happened before we even got to the point where he starts scoring the goals and he ends up with two, is Marchessault was phenomenal. I mean, right off the bat of the game, he hits that stretch pass to Barbashev, who doesn't get finished. There were a number of good chances that he's creating for other guys, that he gets a couple of good chances. Like he was doing a lot there. There's the one diving play. I like a lot of what he did in this game. And it feels like to me, we can't seem to get the good game out of Eichel, Marchessault, and Barbashev at the same time. There hasn't been a lot of great out of Barbashev. There's been some good games, but typically they come on some of the games where maybe Marchessault's not as good as he has been. Eichel's not as good as he has been. Some of these, and Eichel was real good off the top, but Marchessault wasn't as good. So I'm still asking the question, especially now once we get Dorofeev back. I'm assuming that this was teeth related or whatever you want to call that he comes out, kind of made the decision for Bruce there. But once we get to that point, there may be an argument to be made to kind of shift things around a little bit. Because if you look at kind of the strength of the team right now, like today, the strength of the team was Marchessault and Karlsson. The strength of the team for most of the season has been Karlsson or Eichel. Theodore, you could make an argument there. Petrangelo's kind of doing his normal Petrangelo things, but Mark Stone has not been really the dominant force that we know that we can get at different times. So the question becomes, do we prefer? I don't know what's going on with the mic, if it's crackling, because the mic is fine, and like I don't know. I'll switch it if other people have a problem with the mic. I'll switch it. All right, we're switching it. Hang on. Okay, how about now? Is it working now? Is it better now? Hopefully it's better. I put damn earphones. I don't know. Something's going on with apparently it's StreamYard happening. Some issue with StreamYard as opposed to um I don't know, the blue microphone's not. I have the mic. I'm out here working on a mic. I don't know. Okay, so what I'm saying is I think that there's an argument to be made that we don't need Carrier, Cotter, Howden, Kolazar, Barbashev. Like there's a lot of that style of player, and there's obviously different skills to each one of them, and they do different things, and we can look at that. But I think there may be an argument for Pavel to stay in the lineup, and I think Pavel's doing good things. I think Amadio has taken a step and done some good things. Like I think that we might want to kind of look at that, and I think step one is looking at potentially saying, okay, is it time to go away from Barbashev, Marchessault, and Eichel? We'll see as we get down there. Obviously, I think the biggest story of the game, the one that was everyone's freaking out at me over, was the major penalties. So let me just walk you through it real quick here, because it's pretty clearly a major penalty. But before I do that, before I piss you all off, I'm going to tell you that this Periscope and all Periscopes are brought to you by the Jimmerson Law Firm. The Jimmerson Law Firm is one of Las Vegas's preeminent law firms, specializing in high-stakes business, civil, and family litigation when winning matters. Seek out the Jimmerson Law Firm. Winning has sort of mattered on the road trip. We're what, 1-1-1. I guess if you take 5 points on the road trip, it would be fine. Let's pull this up. All right. So here's the rule for cross-checking. I know it's a little bit small. I can't get the box off of there. Let's go back through the play. I'll put this back up in a second. You might not have actually been able to read through it. Let's go through the play. So the play happens. The puck comes towards the goal. Obviously, it's stopped. Hathaway kind of throws Stone into the goal. It's definitely a cheap play. It's definitely one of those ones where it's like, yeah, we don't need to be doing this, but that's also kind of what Garnet Hathaway's out there to do. That's kind of where we're at in that style of player. They're trying to get underneath the Golden Knights' skin. The Golden Knights have proven they are a team you can actually get under their skin. So it happens, right? He shoves him in. Now Stevenson wants to come make something happen. Stevenson decides, I'm going to cross-check him, probably aiming for upper chest, shoulder, something of that sort, right? The important part to me is how little attention Hathaway's paying at this moment. He probably should know he's about to get hit for what he had just done on Stone, but he's not paying attention. So when you get a cross check that comes in from out of nowhere in your own mind, you're probably going to snap your head back. It's probably going to hurt. And I'm not calling embellishment on that one at all. So I can throw that one out. If you disagree with me there, we're never going to agree on that position. I would challenge you to have someone take a hockey stick and smash you across the shoulder and see how your body reacts at a time where you don't know that that's coming. And if your head does not snap back, then I guess maybe you can say Garnet Hathaway was embellishing. However, let's look at the rule. So cross-check, two hands forcibly to an opponent. That happened. I don't think there's any debate that happened. So immediately when that happens, we now have a minor penalty. It's 2 minutes. That's automatic. Now, if you want the embellishment, okay, you can make the argument. You can take the embellishment. I would not. Two hands, forcibly checked, cross-check. That's 2 minutes. Now we go down to minor or major. Major penalty. At the discretion of the referee, based on the severity of the contact, shall be imposed on a player who cross-checks an opponent. Thus, the rule says if it is strong, if it is a very hard cross-check, and the referee determines that it was harder than a standard cross-check, they can call it a major penalty. Does not matter if it got him in the head. I think it got him in the chin. Others seem to not think that. I'm not sure what video you're watching if you don't think it got him in the head at all. I think his hand hit here and then came up. Others seem to disagree. I don't understand how we're all seeing this video that differently. Nonetheless, that's kind of where we're at. So now we get to, was this a major or a minor penalty? And if you think about when the whistle was blown, what was going on at that time, the force to which he cross-checks him, he then falls down, hits his head on the back of the goal, and now is on the ice and skating off, they're going to say that that was a strong cross-check enough for a major. If you take a major penalty, right here on 59.5, when a major penalty is assessed for cross-checking, an automatic game misconduct penalty shall be imposed on the offending player. In other words, it is in the rule. If you believe that was a forcible cross-check, which it was, and it occurred after the play, it's a major penalty. The league then reviews it, says exactly what I just read on that rule, and there we are, 5 minutes, you're out of the game. Do I think that the actual event should have kicked him out of the game? Probably not. Do I think that it injured Garnet Hathaway that badly? No, I do not. However, it's so late. It's clearly a cross-check. He did appear injured in that moment, and there did appear to be some contact to the head. It's a major penalty. I don't understand what the debate is here. It's really not that hard. Like, that was a clear major penalty. I know the Golden Knights complained about it. I heard Marchessault complain about it. I know that Stevenson's not thrilled about it. I understand that they don't like Garnet Hathaway. I get that. I don't particularly like Garnet Hathaway. I actually think Garnet Hathaway's really bad at hockey. Don't think he's good at all. Think he's out there to do exactly this kind of bullshit. But by the letter of the law, by the rule, by the review, by what they saw, that's clearly a major penalty. All right, on to some other things about the game. So now that I've gotten that off my chest, and you can all leave me alone on that one because it's clearly a major penalty and you're wrong if you think otherwise. And there are plenty of people out there that are wrong, that are going to continue to be wrong, and that is what it is. And yes, this is important. That yes, but we're VGK fans, so we're not happy about it. Yeah, I get that. I'm sympathetic to that. I get it. If it were flipped, I guarantee you everyone would want that to be a major penalty. Here's one of my biggest takeaways out of this game. And it's another example of something that impressed me beyond belief over the course of the second half of the season last year, and then really, really big time. And I wrote a long article about it in the postseason in the playoffs. This team's ability to see the mistake that they're making, whether that's something that's happening inside of this game, whether it's something they thought was going to happen in the game and now they're realizing is not, whether it's whatever the reason is, whatever happens, their ability to then change what's going on. Usually it takes till the next game. This year, it's been at many times inside of intermission that they've been able to do it. In this game, in the first period, and then a little bit into the second period, but it got better as the game went on. And then it was completely gone by the major penalty and then into the third period. There were two issues that I had with what the Golden Knights were doing. I tweeted about both of them. The first one was their forechecking was far too aggressive from the second layer of players. So the way the Golden Knights forecheck is in a 1-2-2. They send their first guy up high to force the puck one way. Depends on where the puck is, what hand the guy is, who we have on the ice, all of that. We can get into all that at a different time. Not all that important. The guy up front's plan is I'm trying to send the puck to a specific way that he knows which way he wants it to go, and the rest of the players behind them know which way it's supposed to go. Now, once the puck goes that way, the next layer of players are trying to make it difficult for the puck to get to the red line. They do not want an easy dump in or gaining the red line and having an opportunity to make a play then at the blue line against defensemen who are supposed to be standing up at the blue line, defensive blue line. What the Golden Knights were doing today is the center layer, so the two in the 1-2-2, the middle two, 1-2-2. I'm talking about the 1-2, this two of the 1-2-2. One of the forwards was consistently flying across the center of the ice, trying to cut the play off completely and trying to make a numbers advantage in the neutral zone where the Golden Knights had 2-on-1. They were doing it far too often. Now, that is probably something that the Golden Knights saw in either their last game against the Flyers or in other games the Flyers have played and said, that's an opportunity for us to kill plays off early and potentially find a way to make transition chances out of this. What was happening, though, is that player was getting there either too late or he was not actually getting the stick on the puck on that play. They're zipping through there, and now they're getting 3-on-2s over and over and over again. And the way the Golden Knights are set to defend 3-on-2s, and I used to think this was kind of just more of like, this is like a shortcoming. I'm now starting to think this is actually how they prefer to defend 3-on-2s, is they basically take the two and allow take the two farthest up and just allow the trailer and say goalie's going to have to get the trailer and we'll box these two out and you have a great opportunity to take that look. And if the guy beats you, the guy beats you. That's why we don't want to give up 3-on-2s. The Golden Knights do not give up a lot of 3-on-2s. They give up very few 2-on-1s. In this game, 3-on-2s started flying. The trailer's getting these opportunities. Thompson was able to either stop them or the shot was missed more often than not. As the game went on, though, we started to see the Golden Knights get more and more comfortable not aggressively pursuing with that second layer of forecheck and making the play at the red line and forcing an easier play as opposed to trying to kill it and create the transition faster. I think there is an argument to be made when playing the Flyers. The Golden Knights have to be actively seeking out transition. We saw that in the third period. They stopped actively seeking out transition. They stopped getting offensive chances. In the third period, neither team had a 5-on-5 high danger chance in the entire period. And there was not that much penalty time in that period. So that's where you look at, this is an adjustment we want to make. This is something we want to do. And all of a sudden, that's backfiring on us now. Now we have to go back to kind of playing how we normally play. And as that happened, we end up in the situation where we're not getting much at all in the third period. So I think the thought process was right.
We've got to find a way to generate some transition against this team. Otherwise, we're not going to get much offensively. It didn't work. They shifted back and then they didn't get the offense, but they stopped giving up anything. They did not give up a high danger chance against really at all in the second half of the game at 5-on-5. So that portion of it went back to successful, and that's interesting. Again, my point is what I really like about this iteration of the Golden Knights and the style of play that they're playing right now is they've been able to make adjustments and change said adjustments inside of a game. Team is beating them in front of the goal. They make an adjustment. They're no longer beaten in front of the goal. Team is dominating them on 6-on-5. They are struggling at 5-on-6. They are not holding the puck in the offensive zone. They're not dumping it in enough. They're not pursuing the forecheckers enough. Whatever it happens to be, they've been able to make that change quickly and put it into effect and get better than basically have better results than what they've seen. The second part of this game was the penalty kill. This is a terrible power play that they were playing against. I don't know exactly much about this power play, so I don't know why the Golden Knights would decide to put in this little tweak to their penalty kill, but for whatever reason, the forwards were really challenging the points, really getting farther away from the defensive box that they play in when they're in a penalty kill, and really kind of trying to kill that off quicker. It may have been because they noticed that there were possibly going to be shorthanded chances there, and we did end up seeing that as the game went on. But what happened was we end up with forwards too far away, and now when the shot comes in or a deflection or a pass into the middle, we now have two defensemen that are back all the way by the goal, forwards that are pretty far away, like well above the circles, and there's this massive gap in the middle of the penalty kill. That's where they end up giving up 2 goals. It happened on both of the first 2 goals, and then we get a 5-minute major that we have to kill a little bit while later, and it looks much, much better. A lot less pursuing away from the middle of the ice. Box is a lot tighter in the middle, and you see a lot better penalty killing. It's another example of saying, okay, this didn't work. Let's make that change. Let's make something happen there. So that's another thing where it's not only good coaching. Like, I think a lot of this is going to sound like, oh, Cassidy's doing good things to help them get across the line here, giving them more answers. I think a lot of it has to go with, and I think that's very good. I think Cassidy is very good. I think a lot of it has to be this team's able and willing. I should have said that backwards because it's a phrase if you say it backwards. This team is willing and able to make changes inside of games, to make changes from game to game, to actually change what they're doing, to actually make fundamental tweaks to their offense, to their defense, to their neutral zone, to their penalty kill, to their power play. Not as much. And they've actually had success with it. That's how they got through the Edmonton series. That's how they got on the back of the right way at the end of that Dallas series. And that's really what happened in the last couple of games of the Florida series. Maybe you can make the argument at the beginning of the Winnipeg series, but the Florida series is the one. Beginning, all was going well. All of a sudden, it started heading the wrong direction a little bit in game 2, really kind of started heading a little bit the wrong direction at the end of game 3 because they lost, realized we have to make a little bit of a tweak, get a little bit better in different places. They did it. All of a sudden, they beat them in game 4, smacked the shit out of them in game 5. And here we are with the Stanley Cup over my shoulder here, right? So that's one thing that I'm looking for as this season goes on is, are we making the adjustments and successfully implementing those changes as we go on? I thought we saw a great example of that today. Would love to ask players and coach about that, but I am not going to Philadelphia. I am not going to Pittsburgh. And I would probably not going next. No, I know I'm not going to Dallas. So I won't see them for quite a while, so we won't get anything on that. If you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat now because I am seemingly out of things. Oh, no, I want to talk about 5-on-3. But if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And while you do that, I want to show you another mural that was made. Oh, this is the same one that I showed last time. Here, I have a different one. Here, let's go with this one. From graffitipark.org, graffitipark.org, fantastic local company. Go there, graffitipark.org. If you want a mural at your house or in your business or anywhere that you would like them to paint a mural, they are fantastic local company. We'll hook you up with an artist, get that mural painted, and you will not be disappointed with the artwork that they will come up. It's one of a kind stuff. Go to graffitipark.org. All right, so here's this question. How would you rearrange the lines if Dorofeev comes in and Cotter goes out? If it's that simple, I don't think I would make all that much of a change. I'd probably be fine because I love what Carlson's doing. So if Carlson can continue doing that with Amadio and he had Cotter, he had Dorofeev, we can look at keeping that mix of players. Now, if we want to make a little bit more of a change, my argument might be looking at potentially taking Kolazar out or Howden out and then changing where Barbashev is, like possibly putting Barbashev in that fourth line role, getting a lot more from them. Because I think a fourth line of Carrier, Waugh, Barbashev is without question the best in the NHL. Can you get that production from, can we put a Matteo up there with Eichel and Marchessault? Can we potentially go Howden up there in that spot? We've seen that at different times before. Can we put Dorofeev there? Like, there are different options that we can look at to potentially get more offense, get more from that first line. I don't think I want to take Eichel and Marchessault apart, but I think that third player there, you can get more out of everyone if Barbashev plays in a different place. I just don't think it's working with Barbashev, and I don't think I thought this was going to be the case in the first place, and now it seems to be coming to fruition. I think I would like to see different options there. Even if we go crazy down the road and put Carlson somewhere in a different spot and whatever, Carlson with Stone and Stevenson, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to make them up off the fly here. It's difficult. There are a lot of different options. So, all right. Why aren't I going on the road trip? It's far away. One, it's expensive. Two, I wanted to go Formula One, so that's 3, which I went last night, and it was awesome. And it's November, and regular season games in November don't really matter at all. So I very rarely will travel in November. I am going to Seattle. I'm excited about that. Laughed a little bit last night, seeing cold. Good call. PD Vaz, good call. And it's cold. Yeah. And it wasn't that cold at F1. It was a little cold, but not too bad last night. Seattle, the jersey. So here, let me give some updated information on what I understand about the jersey. Yeah, I'll give an F1 update in a second. Here's where we're at. There was a plan to unveil the jerseys on Thursday, I think it was. Whenever that tweet came out, I think it was the Mayor's Manor that tweeted it, that said it's coming out tomorrow. There was a plan to release the jerseys on that day. I believe it was Thursday. For whatever reason, and I don't know the reason, it didn't happen. When it didn't happen, they then rescheduled it to what I now believe is Wednesday. So I'm pretty sure we're getting the jerseys on Wednesday. Someone did not tell the Utah Jazz that thing had changed from Thursday to Wednesday, and the Utah Jazz were all given these jerseys and told, after they reveal these, you're going to wear them to your next basketball game, and it's going to be a nice little connection between Seattle and Utah. Granted, I thought we were the team of the Rockies. Don't have the Rocky Mountain in the logo like the Avs do, but I still thought we were the team of the Rockies. Whatever. I thought we were Utah's friend, not Seattle. Nonetheless, it appears Seattle is now Utah's friend. I'm not that worried about it. Utah, it's fine. If you live in Utah, that's great. For me, don't think about Utah that much. So I'm not that concerned about it. So now Seattle has now had their jersey leaked. By the way, that jersey is sweet. So that's potentially good news for us. Here's what I know about the Golden Knights jersey. I've said this a number of times before. It is supposedly cream to vanilla ice cream color. I still don't fully know exactly what that means, but I've been told it so many times that I'm like 99% sure that's what it is. I would imagine it's gold pants, faded kind of darker gold. I'm not sure on that one, but I know the jersey is some sort of cream. There is then a red that is different than any other red we've seen. Yeah, off-white, whatever. whatever you want to call it. There is a red that is much darker and maroonier than what the red we're used to. So if you go back to the Golden Knights reverse retro jerseys, they were bright red, leotard, arrows pointing to wieners, bright red, right? That's what those were. These are not that. This is much more old timey, like the color of red wine color. How much of that is on the jersey? I'm not entirely sure. And then I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, that the double sword V logo that I shared months ago on that hat that was leaked to me, that logo I believe is on the front. But I'm not 100% sure because there was at one point something that said they were going to have Vegas written across the front in the flamingo font. That is possible. And then the V's are on the shoulder. So we will see what we end up getting. But that's the combination. Off-white, burgundy-ish, reddish, dark maroon jersey, V sword logo, not the sword stone, but the V sword logo, and then the Vegas font in the flamingo font with that swivelly V, right? Yeah, how that goes. The F1 update, F1 was awesome. It was great. I was at the T-Mobile Sphere Zone, which was quite fun. Watching qualifying was amazing. The amount of data that they offer you is phenomenal. I paid $3 for an F1 app, and like the amount of data, I was like overwhelmed with how much data. It was awesome. I wish we had that in this sport, that like we can literally sit there and I have the track and I have the map and all the cars of when they're coming around. So I'm telling everyone which car is coming up next. You have the exact seconds of, they have 3 sections of the 3.8-mile track. And then there are 6 sections inside of that 3 segments, and you have the exact time that they're getting in each of the 6 of those. Like the amount of data that they have, really, really cool. It was great. Like it's so bright, it's so cool. The sphere is awesome. It's not as loud as I thought. I've been to NASCAR and that was loud as shit and I hated it. This was not that loud, so that was great. I highly recommend anybody going. It was not that hard getting down there. It was not that hard getting out of there. The food was good and free. The drinks, I don't drink like alcohol, so my drinks were all free. It was good. It was good. Expensive, but it was good. Like it's sporting events are sporting events. If you want to go, you got to pay what it is. So that's all I got. If anybody else has questions, go ahead and put them in there. And until that, I'll tell you that this Periscope and all Periscopes are brought to you by the Jimmerson Law Firm. When winning matters, seek out the Jimmerson Law Firm. Last call on questions. Otherwise, I'm out of here. And I'm going to watch the race tonight. Go Pierre. My guy Pierre Gasly finished 5th in qualifying. He starts 4th in the race. Pumped about it. Gave him a fist bump on Tuesday. We now have pre-fist bump and post-fist bump. He has been phenomenal since I've given him the fist bump. If he gets a podium today, it's 100% me. His chance of getting a podium tonight are very low. That's it. Good night, everybody. Golden Knights lose, but get a point, and it was an exciting game, and I enjoyed watching it. 10 o'clock games kind of suck, and that game didn't suck that much. So that's it. See you later. We'll see you I'm not going to do one of these tomorrow. There's another game tomorrow. I'm going to watch the game. I'll be tweeting live as I always do, but I'm not doing one of these after the game tomorrow. So we'll see. Maybe 2. Yeah, whatever. The Dallas game. I'll do one after the Dallas game. Probably. I don't know. We'll see.